area. Have you ever been here before?
Yes.
Oh,
A couple times.
There's okay.
Okay, this area is where we show our small breed dogs. In this area here, it goes around the corner.
It is on.
So people can come and do the dogs. And every cage has the name of the dog, the breed, and if it's available or not. Okay? This area over here is our get acquainted area. If somebody adopts a dog from us and they currently have a dog at home, they have to bring their dog down to make sure that they get along before, you know, they go home together.
Right.
Okay?
You can take pictures. Yeah, that's why I gave it to you.
Now, if you have any questions, you know, about anything, go ahead and ask me like you're interviewing me.
Okay. One thing that I would like to bring up as soon as my paper is over here is if you can think of any questions pertaining to any of the videos that you'd want to be asked, let me know. Write it down.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Okay, this is our cat building. And so we have about 150 cats in here. The cats all have their own place that they stay in at night. They have cat furniture, they have a litter box and cat food, and they have a window which they dearly love, is to look out at the, you know, what's going on outside. So people can come in, the cats are roaming around, and the best way for them to pick a cat is the cat will pick them. He'll come and rub around your legs, and then they start the adoption process. Okay, out here. Out here during the daytime. Nobody's out here at night, but this is a safe environment for them because they cannot crawl up this way and over and out, and nothing can come in. So they like being out in the sunshine, but yet it's safe for them to be out here. Okay?
Right. Okay.
Okay. Now let me take you the rest of the way around. You're not taking this for a final version?
No.
Okay.
This is just so I can go back and
Okay.
reference it.
So I would like to have more information on just the cats alone, the breeds, and you know, and different information on what they eat and what is required when you adopt a cat.
Okay.
You know, as far as you'll have to give them vaccinations once a year. And then when they're about 5, you'll need to start worrying about keeping their teeth clean. Okay, this is where the dogs stay at night. They each have their own kennel at night. Then during the daytime, they can go outside. If they get along with other dogs, then they can have a buddy when they're outside.
Okay.
If they don't, then they can be out here by themselves. Now we have volunteers that come down and they walk the dogs during the, be careful.
How many outdoor kennels are there?
There is 40.
40? Okay.
So then they get in the bigger kennel during the daytime, and the volunteers can walk them. We have this great big area back here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the volunteers, they have a couple of options. They can, take the dogs out and let them play in here. They play with frisbees, and then back here where that painting is on the wall, it's an agility course to where they can jump to the hoops if somebody wants to take the time to do that. And when it's hot, they can turn on the sprinklers and everybody gets wet. So.
Even better.
Yeah. Okay?
All right.
Sorry, I was just looking at one of the dogs. Oh, yeah, looks like it's a golden mix.
Also trying to get a lot of like side eye.
You mean a movie?
Huh?
You mean a movie?
Uh-huh.
The Railroad Mustang?
Yeah.
Yes, the Admiral Mustang.
We have 3 buildings going up this way. This building is our quarantine building. On one side, if we have young puppies, we like to keep them quarantined because they're not vaccinated yet before we mix them with the population.
Okay.
And this side, we rescue dogs from kill shelters. And so we don't know who they've been around before we mix them, so they have to be quarantined to make sure that they're not sick. We don't want to bring any kind of illness to our dogs.
And you only do that with the dogs?
We rescue cats, but we have in the office there a quarantine area for the cats.
Okay.
Okay. This is where the small breed dogs, the ones that are up for viewing, stay at night. All 3 buildings have air conditioner and heat, so that they're not outdoors at night.
Okay.
This 3rd building is for senior dogs. They're the ones that have been at the shelter the longest, so they really have the best living conditions. They have the options of going in at night or coming out as they wish. See the doggy doors that they can go inside?
Yeah.
Now this is our shot clinic, and I'd like to do a separate video on just the shot clinic.
Okay.
We have 2 shot clinics, one on Saturday 10 to 12, and the other one is on Tuesday 6 to 7:30. And so people come and we give low-cost vaccine clinic. They come, they fill out a form, and we take care of their cats or dogs, whatever they need. They come in the front door, go out the back door, and we try and give away freebies for those that need it.
Okay.
So that, I would like to do one video on just that, because it would be nice to get that information out to the public that we do the low-cost vaccine clinic and how much it costs for each shot and when you're supposed to give them. It's about to be determined to run over, isn't it? So that would be another one. Another one, I'd like to just go into the dogs, the different breeds of dogs, and maybe if you're looking for your first pet, what would be a good option?
Okay.
For your family. If you have little kids, maybe you wouldn't want a pet, or too small of a small dog. Okay?
Yeah.
So those were the things that I was thinking of. A tour like I just gave you, but a little more detailed.
And so I got the email here, and you have 5 listed: shot clinic,
Right.
facility, specific dog, specific cat, and volunteers.
Right.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And
And the volunteers, they have to go through an orientation. They have to fill out a volunteer form, and then they have to go through an orientation on, you sign in and what dogs, if you like dogs, you can't just get 2 big dogs and start walking them. You have to know who gets along with who.
Yeah.
And just do's and don'ts.
How long does the orientation take?
About 45 minutes.
Oh, really? So just like a 1 day?
Yeah, and then we just don't want anybody to get hurt is our main thing.
No, exactly.
For the, I'm gonna be able to hear it later. the get acquainted area, can they bring the pets that they currently have?
They have to before the adoption is completed.
Okay.
We want to make sure that they get along before they take them home so that nobody gets hurt if they don't. And you can tell right away if they're going to get along or not.
Okay. Okay, so for the volunteers, what's you want that the format that you sent at cathouse.kings.com? You want that for all 5 of them?
I
the
don't know.
facility
Probably just the facility for the Cat House on the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at their video in a while, but it would be the same thing. It would be more or less like an interview, and if you had any questions that you had, then we could answer them at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but as far as the different breeds of cats, I could show you samples of, going out in the cat house, what the breeds are: domestic short hair, or domestic medium hair, or domestic long hair. And the things about long-haired cats, you have to keep them brushed or send them to the groomer. And short-hair cats, you still need to brush them, but they're not as hard to maintain as the long-haired cats are. And if you have allergies, I got to get out of the sun. If you have allergies to cats, I've heard that Siamese are much better. They don't seem to have the dander.
Yeah, they have less hair.
Yeah,
so.
less dander for...
or hair at all.
Yeah. But we could show you different types of breeds, and what we do here is so that they can mingle amongst themselves. We test all of them for FIV and leukemia. That would be AIDS and leukemia, so that if one has it, they cannot be mingling with the rest, or they'd all have it.
Leukemia and what?
And AIDS, it's FIV.
And what?
Like
FIV.
HIV, it's
Oh,
FIV.
FIV.
Yeah, for feline.
Okay. All right, and for cats?
And all of our cats are spayed and neutered.
Mm-hmm.
They have their shots and they're tested for FIV and leukemia. And they're all ready to go home, but an application would have to be filled out for each pet. Now the cats, they don't have to bring their cats down because that wouldn't show much, because their cats would be scared.
Cats are cats.
Yeah, cats will find their own way.
That's right, that's right. But the dogs, if they currently have a dog at home, they would have to bring their current pet down for a get acquainted. And they are all spayed and neutered, and they have their shots as well. And I'll give you a copy of each application.
Okay. So for the facility, we do a walkthrough, and what structures would you touch on?
All of them.
All
What
of them?
we just did right now would be,
Okay.
because I don't think, unless you've been here, it doesn't look, this place from the street doesn't look as big as it is.
Yeah.
And I think people would be surprised that the pets, especially the dogs, have plenty of room to run around. And maybe we can get some more volunteers, because we're a no-kill shelter. We don't kill our pets. They stay here until they get a permanent home. And so volunteers, if I were a volunteer, I'd want to come to a no-kill shelter, because I don't want to make friends with somebody the next week it's gone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd be interested in volunteering after my basketball season's over and I have time, but because I love animals.
Yeah,
Cats and
especially if you like cats. You can
Oh, I
just
love
sit
the
out there
cats. I'll
and
just sit
get
there
all the
and-
stress gone.
dogs. Oh yeah, it's so relaxing.
Okay?
Is there a certain age for volunteers?
18, have to be 18.
Perfect. I'm in.
Okay, we can go inside. I just want to ask, what questions, do you know of any specific questions that we'd ask on these video topics?
Well, the questions that I'm thinking that you should ask is how long did the cats stay here, and, so that we could, clarify that we're a no-kill shelter and we don't keep them
Well, you can also think of the questions. Those are going to be the lead-ins to the topics during the tour or looking at a building. So for those topics that you definitely want to make sure that get covered, if you can formulate a question that would be the lead-in for it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm thinking for volunteers, I'm sorry, for dogs, cats, and volunteers, we can do the sit-down kind of interview thing and then cut to images while you're saying the things. But for, I think, Shot Clinic and the facility, we'll kind of do a walk around and walk through
Okay.
of how that's done.
Yeah, well, the facility, we just kind of did what needed to be done. But the shot clinic, we could explain what shots are required by law, like the rabies is required for dogs and cats.
And cats. My cat still gets that one.
Yeah. Well, some cities don't require the rabies for cats, or at least they haven't enforced it. But dogs, they really enforce that one. And I can give you all the information on that.
Okay.
Just a question on the whole facility. Do you want anything on the history, the back history of your
yeah, how
facility
it
at all? How long
Well,
it's been here, or
it's been
serving
here
the community? Or?
It's been here since the 50s. It was the Chapey Humane Society. And then in the early 90s, it was an actual humane society. It was a kill
Owned by
facility.
Humane Society.
Yeah, it was a kill facility at that time. And then in the early 90s, it became a no-kill facility. And we're a nonprofit. And let's see what, I lost my train of thought. It was really good too.
When that happens.
Oh, I can't remember what I was thinking. And so anyway, that's the kind of the history that it's for the last 20 years it's been a no-kill. Oh, I know what I was going to say. We're the only no-kill shelter in San Bernardino, so
Oh, that's good.
yeah. We need to get more, save more lives.
Well, from Todd's trip, this is actually the third boy that we've had do projects down here for you.
Oh yeah, good.
One of them did
The sprinklers out in the
the
back?
sprinkler system was the last one, and then the gazebo was redone by Dale Domingo's work.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys have always been very good to us. The Girl Scouts did that painting on
Yeah,
the wall.
the mural on the wall, I saw a newspaper clip on that.
Yeah, and so we're always glad to have help, and it's very much appreciated. Well, okay.
So yeah, if you, I was wondering if you know you could do your stuff, and if we could just take a walk around, maybe
Sure.
come up with some questions,
Okay.
and then come back and ask you, and then we'll get an answer.
Okay.
Because that will then allow me to outline what I need to make to plan it.
Okay. Good.
So yeah, if we could do that, and then while you're inside, if you think of anything,
Okay.
to
I'll give
tell
you
me.
a brochure, and that'll give you the prices of our vaccinations
Okay.
and the protocol on when you should get them.
Okay. Also, my researchers did some independent research, and I think most of the sources they used was your website, but I don't want to make, I don't want to make something with bad information. So regarding spaying and neutering cats and dogs, what else? History and volunteers. Those three they did research on. And then future plans and history we're not going to touch on. So that's what they have. You can look those over if you want.
Okay, I'll do that while you're looking around, and if I got something to add or take out, then I'll talk to you.
Okay,
All right.
that'd
Thank
be
you
great.
very much.
Ann?
Yes.
Now, will you be the one that will be giving the tour when we actually come out
If
here and
you
shoot
want,
for real,
yeah.
or someone else?
If you want.
Because something to think about is that there will, I foresee that there will be a day that will be required to do voiceovers. Basically, you're saying the same thing, except without dogs barking, chickens flying over, and that type of thing to go into the soundtrack.
And you never know when a plane's going by.
Yeah, so there's an extra day that's involved of sitting in the conference room in front of a microphone and looking at the video that was taken
Okay.
and looking at what you had said and saying it again.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, that's fine.
And then, you know, it's a little tedious because you got to get the timing right, but, you know, just a heads up that, you know, once everybody comes out here, they get all the footage, there's probably going to be another round of people sitting down in post-production to
Okay,
piece
well,
it
when it
together.
goes into the dogs, I'm more or less in charge of the cats, but when it goes into our dogs, then it would probably, I would need to get somebody that knows the dogs a lot better than myself.
Yeah, well, it's just to let them know, whoever does that,
Yeah,
that there's
be
going to be an
fine.
additional duty of sitting inside a conference room or someplace fairly quiet
That's all right, that's fine.
and going through
The other
it.
thing I'm thinking for facility one is that we'll have kind of a host person, like on Dirty Jobs, like have someone
Just
there
hand
the
off
audience
to-
can relate with. Yeah. To ask questions and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the kennels, you know, they have to hose them down and keep them
I was just kind of
sanitary.
curious. I don't know if this could help or anything, but like, how do you keep track of the dogs and cats of like what you have, other than just like the name and their breed when they're out? Like, do you have like records or anything
Yes.
like that?
Well, on the cats, you notice those little cards that went on each door? Those are the cats that live in there, and it tells their breed, their age, and I know.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
having a
it's
hard
just-
time with this sun. And
Here, you can do it.
oh, thanks. The breed, the age, and how old they are, and what vaccinations they've had, and they live in there. Now Nancy is the one that works out there. She knows everyone by looking at them. Oh wow! I know. So, and then the kennel people, they know all the breeds of the dogs and where they go at night. And I guess there's less of them, so they know them better. You know. They know when one's missing or not in its place. So.
How many volunteers do you have? Just
We have quite a few volunteers, but there's no requirements of putting in how much time you put in. So they come when they have time, and if they're in school, you know, or in college around here, they come a lot during the college, and then summer they're gone. You know, so there's not a whole lot here all the time. And we do have events during the year. We have we go to the Pet Expo in Orange County, and that's always fun. If you haven't been to that, that's fun for the volunteers to take a pet down there and, you know, try and find it a home. It's a 3-day thing. It's the largest pet adoption event around.
nice.
So, okay. Alrighty, so I'll be inside.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hauser.
Yeah. All right, so let's go walk around then.
Sweet.
Oh.
I like your rig.
Yeah, thank you. That was probably heavy the way you were holding it.
Hand cramp.
Get the logo in again.
It wasn't until I went to move my hand that I realized,
Gee, this isn't comfortable.
well, no, it's still comfortable like this. It's any motion after that.
What are you snapping for? So is your last name pronounced Yakeley?
Yeekly or Yeekly?
Okay, because I've been calling you Yeekley for years, and I want to make sure.
Yekley.
Yakeley?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Ye-
calling you
Ye-
Yakeley now.
Yekley.
Yakeley.
Oh, I
Todd,
know.
you told me your wrong last name. I can't believe
Because you listened to his mother. You should know that pronunciation isn't exactly one of your strong points.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's pretty good, but
I've asked you, and you told me either is acceptable, so that's what I've been telling people.
Okay, well, calling you Yakeley.
They call me Greg, they call me Scott. I just say, why is that just never